Calgary's election looks a little different this year, with municipal political parties on the ballot. So that got me thinking, what do voters and reporters like me need to know?
If the mayor wins and they're conservative, but their party doesn't win, what happens there? Like, how does that government form?
How that values piece plays into parties, or if it's more topic specific.
To answer these sorts of questions, I'm going to need to phone a friend, or in this case, a colleague.
Hey, Helen.
Justin McElroy is CBC Vancouver's municipal affairs reporter.
In Vancouver, we've had political parties for almost 100 years at this point.
What are the key differences between Calgary and Vancouver's municipal governments? How would that change what we might see from this party system?
Number one, Calgary is a mega city. It is one place for all the different areas of the, about 2 million people in the metro region. Metro Vancouver is broken up into 21 different municipalities and our 2.5 million people. Vancouver is only 700,000 of that. The other part of it is we don't have ward systems. You don't elect a councillor to your neighborhood. We elect all 10 councillors at the same time at large. So you have a ballot of like 70 different councillors, and the top 10, you get to vote for 10 of them. The top 10 on the list with the most votes all get elected.
What do you notice about the pros and cons for having it or not having it?
I mean, it's interesting, and it varies from the election cycle to election cycle, and depending on the personality of the mayors and councillors. You have more predictability in some ways because when a party, if they hold a majority, say, this is what we're going to do, you know how it's going to work out. On the other hand, it means that you have maybe less flexibility of, councillors moving and changing their opinion as time goes on, or having interesting coalitions on a case-by-case basis. You have a mayor and a council with a majority that they know what they're going to do. They can implement a strategic plan. You don't have as many no votes where the mayor is on the outside, assuming that the mayor and council parties elected are simpatico, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And so people see the appeal of that.
If they're different from federal and provincial politics, where partisanship is, I guess, worn on the sleeve or in the brand, what kind of issues do they focus on then?
In terms of the issues, the dividing lines in Vancouver are about crime and safety. They're about housing. They're about the role of a local government. And that forces political parties to come up with what sort of their philosophy is going to be and how they want to create an agenda and a set of policies or bylaws or official community plans to move that forward. And in that interim period, it can be a little bit messy and unpredictable because people are trying to figure out how exactly to work within these systems. And again, you'll see more councillors speak out independently than you would at a provincial or federal level, where it's like, well, you wait for the premier or prime minister to say what the law of the land is. But once those things are established over the course of those 4 years, you tend to see pretty predictable debates and breakdowns along party lines on these hot button issues.
If a party's mayor wins, but their ward candidates don't, how does that dynamic play out?
Messily, let's put it that way. We have seen, and there's not a clear-cut example, but there's been a number of situations where you have councillors that are clearly oppositional from the mayor. And of course, we have a weak mayor system throughout most of Canada. There's only so much that the mayor can do to pass his agenda if he doesn't have a majority. And unlike provincial or federal politics, if there's a de facto non-confidence vote against the mayor, that doesn't mean that there's a new election. There's that lack of mechanisms that we have at the provincial and federal level where people think about, whip votes. They think about parties booting out their leader. You think about non-confidence votes and snap elections, all these things that can release the tension if things are no longer working within the party system. That doesn't happen to the same extent municipally.
With all of that in mind, this is just a pilot here. We're not sure if it's just this election, if there's another election that will use this party model, or if it just kind of disappears. What do you think voters should take away from this?
Well, I mean, I think they should take away how the system works when people are governing, right? Maybe things are so efficient but there's still a free exchange of dissent and ideas that people go, oh, this is really good for our community, and in fact, more people are motivated to create political parties in the future, maybe it creates more of a gong show, and there's more to behind the scenes. Skullduggery happening, and voters say, you know what, this is fine on a provincial and federal level, but in my community, I really don't like this level of partisanship. And that'll play out in an organic way over the next 4 years, but it's going to be fascinating to see how people react and what exact breakdown happens on the council and mayor seat as a result of these parties this time around.
I think it's definitely one to watch. Thanks so much.
Thanks.